schedule for today, and we are starting with the same. Here we have Mr. Paras Pathak and Prasant Jaiswal. Both of them are from the industry, having a discrete set of experience, more than 14 years of experience on various discrete platforms. And we had actually requested Mr. Pathak and Mr. Jaiswal to join us and share their views on the topic how Google Map works on our series of talks shows that we are doing for scale up. So without wasting much of the time, I actually want to welcome both of our experts to start their processing. So Mr. Pathak and Mr. Prasant Jaiswal, can you please switch on the video and audio? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pathak?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
hello everyone. Myself Paras. Currently, I'm working with Amazon. I'm alumni of BIT Misra, and I have experience in multiple product domains. Worked for a longer time with Oracle, then as an architect in supply chain management company, and the travel domain company, Amadeus and Blue Yonder, respectively. So currently working for the product development with Amazon. So that's the brief about me. Ranjan, do you mind muting everyone, please?
Yes.
So I'm accompanied here by my friend and colleague Prashant Jaiswal. Hi Prashant, would you like to put some words?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, so I'm Prashant. So right now I'm employed with VMware. So prior to VMware, I was working with Oracle. So I've spent close to 11 years in Oracle. So yeah. So yeah, Paras, you can go ahead with the presentation now.
All right. So welcome everyone. So today's discussion would be about the Google Map, right? So it is, I believe it is one of the very innovative and evolutionary product that Google had gotten. So do you know any other mapping system that we have right now in India? Anyone can ping that on the chat. Okay, just for the information, so there is myindia.in. There's another application which is being driven by Government of India. So that also is quite popular, getting quite popular nowadays, and it's being in use very frequently, especially on the roads, highways, especially outside the town when you are traveling, right? So that is also, it's one of the one of the reliable service that you can avail of. Okay, so maps are basically what do you mean by map? Map क्यों यूज करते हैं हम लोग? मैप यूज करते हैं क्योंकि एक जगह से दूसरे जगह जाने में हमें सुविधा मिलता है. वी आर एबल टू फाइंड द रूट. अब उस रूट में क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, अगर वो प्रॉब्लम हमको लाइव में मिल जाए तो वो भी बहुत मजा आ जाएगा कि आई कैन सेलेक्ट विच रूट टू चूज, विच रूट नॉट टू चूज. सो ये सब कुछ बेसिक एडवांटेजेस ऑफ मैप है, फॉर विच I believe that Google has done a really brilliant work in providing us this map service to us. But इसके पीछे का क्या मंशा है, इसके पीछे क्या आर्किटेक्चर है, कितना मेहनत है, we cannot imagine कि उसके पीछे कितना मेहनत डेली लगता है. And when I say mehnat, it is not only in terms of the computers, it is terms of the hard working laborer type का काम भी है. Because एक cheez what we see on this thing undergoes a human interference, right? So in that context, it is a very important system design or the area to explore about. We will not be covering the entire thing because that is like कि वो महीनों भर उस पे बात चल सकता है कि ये कैसे हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है. Many of the things are proprietary to Google, which is not out in the market space. So I have prepared this talk with some of the data that is available on the public forum, some of the data that we know for sure ki with the experience ki this could be the possible implementation that Google would have done. So there are multiple categories from where I have selected the data, secured the data. As far as the accuracy of the data is concerned, yes, these are the most accurate data that is available on the public domain. But इसके अंदर और भी multi layers of complications हैं, which I can give you a brief. We'll be walking through a brief of that, high level view of that. We may not be able to deep dive into this because each and every functionality of Google Map is a massive man hours work. I can say so. So it's in the interest of time, we'll be keeping ourselves limited to some of the agenda that we have identified for today. Okay, so पहला चीज है कि मैप रेंडर कैसे होता है. सो हम जब अपने ऐप पे देखते हैं या अपने लैपटॉप पे ऑन करते हैं map.google.com, तो वो मैप रेंडर कैसे होता है, वो मैप कैसे बनता है, ठीक है. आपका पोजिशनिंग कैसे होता है. सो यू गाइज, आई थिंक इन द प्रीवियस टॉक Mr. Prashant would have clarified about the GPS, right? So GPS is like it's a global positioning system, which you guys now must be aware of कि कैसे काम करता है, कैसे triangulation होता है, how the satellites are working day and night to identify your location. So GPS is one of the service of United States, which is being used by Google Map. China का अपना एक सर्विस है, and India has also, I don't remember the name exactly, India का कुछ पहचान या कुछ उस तरह से है. India has also launched its own global positioning system kind of service. GPS.
One second, I want to pause. Navic. That's name
Navic.
is
Navic. Right. So like China का अपना भी है. Like पाकिस्तान में primarily China का वो system use होता है. Especially now these systems are little more dedicated towards the security of the land. So security forces are heavily relying upon them to use those positioning system. But just for the information, global positioning system is not a generic or a universal term. It is basically a system's name that is being done, that is being provided by United States of America. All right, this is just for the fact clearance. So उस positioning system के हम जिस किसी भी positioning system को use करते हैं, and for that matter Google uses GPS. So how do you identify yourself, or how do you see the thing? आपके content जो आपके ऊपर आता है वो कैसे आता है. उस content में आने में then there is one important functionality जिसपे like कि there's a continuous evolution. Even right now the people are working on this to evolve this to a better level, better usability, smoothness in the rendering is zoom in zoom out. जब आप zoom in zoom out करते हैं. So this would be my another point where I would like to discuss where we'll have some discussion. We'll try to understand कि ये कैसे कर सकता है या कैसे करता है. And then third is जो most frequently use होता है, but navigation. Most of the detail about the navigation is related to what we have studied. उस तरह के कुछ पढ़ाई हमने करा भी है उसके related. We'll see कि कैसे जो I mean navigation में कैसे algorithm का use होता है, data structures का use होता है, and और इसके बारे में और भी बहुत ज़्यादा information public domain पे available है. But in the context of what we will be driving कि हमारा Google में navigation कैसे होता है, high level उसका overview देखेंगे. So agenda clear to everyone? All right. Now, सबसे पहले देखते हैं कि rendering of the map, how the maps gets rendered. So when initially, in initial days, when Google Map was there into the picture around 2005 or something, how it was working was that there was many data provider. So जो मैप बिल्डिंग होता है, जैसे उससे पहले भी मैप का कॉन्सेप्ट तो था मे बी पेपर में. इफ आई रिमेम्बर कि हम लोग स्कूल टाइम में भी ऑलवेज यूज टू हैव द एटलस होता है, राइट, जो फिजिकल मैप, पॉलिटिकल मैप, ये सारे बना के हर जगह का देता है. सो एटलस होता है, एटलस में भी आप स्टेट लेवल देख सकते हैं. यू कैन सी द रिवर्स, यू कैन सी द रोड्स. इफ यू deep down to the atlas, so there is like geography में बहुत ज्यादा ये सारे details का map available है, right? So Google क्या करता था पहले कि पहले ऐसे ही कुछ authoritative sources से ये data लेता था, उसको वो third party को देता था. There was some other company which used to outsource the map in digital format to Google. Google उसको लेता था, उस मैप को लेके वो अपना एक स्ट्रीमिंग बनाता था. इट वाज जस्ट लाइक अ मूवी, कि आप क्या कर रहे हो कि मूवी ले रहे हो, मूवी मतलब रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे हो, रिकॉर्ड करके आप उसको प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो, ठीक है, एज अ इन अ स्ट्रीम्ड वे, इन अ मैप, इन अ एप्लीकेशन, right? And when I say application, it considers both. So web app, like कि जैसे आप Chrome में जाके when you actually type map.google.com, या फिर when browser, another is web app, where like in the Android or an iPhone, you go to map and see the map outcome out there, right? So initial days में this was the methodology which initially Google was doing around. In this course, the basic disadvantage with the Google was that it was not able to present the changes such frequently. So now let's say there is a closure of a road, right? या फिर let's say the closure of the road is there, कि एक रोड का पुल टूट गया है, वो रोड बंद हो गया है, right? So उसके लिए वो चेंज वो 15 दिन बाद हो सकता है, even though no matter how much force he applies, but in context of the entire world, या जिस countries में भी ये support कर रहा है Google Map, तो वहां पे it was taking good amount of time to reflect those changes in his app, for obvious reason, क्योंकि वो data फिर से आएगा, digitalize होगा, फिर machine में जाएगा, and then it will start rendering. तो वो delay हो रहा था. बट इस कोर्स में सबसे अच्छा चीज क्या हुआ कि गूगल गॉट गुड अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा, वो जिस कंट्री में था. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि गूगल मैप इज अ ग्लोबल सर्विस. आई मीन राइट नाउ यू कैन से इट इज अ ग्लोबल सर्विस, बट पहले नहीं था गूगल मैप ग्लोबल सर्विस. किसी कंट्रीज में ही वो काम कर रहा था. धीरे धीरे इट एक्सपैंडेड इट्स रीजन्स. सो नाउ इसके पास क्या हुआ, धीरे धीरे इस मॉडल से इट गॉट ए गुड अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा कि एक सिटी का लेआउट कैसा है, मोर और लेस इसको पता था. So it has a good amount of data stored. That was the best part that happened in this primitive way of displaying the thing, right? So then what it did, then that was the earlier way. Now what it does, now it has the data, internal data was there. Now it gets the like अब नया road बन रहा है या नया road बना है, ठीक है, and let's say that road is active. So it gets the data from the authoritative departments. Authoritative department may be the government body, maybe the private body which is working along with them. ठीक है, अब ऐसा तो नहीं है कि मैप का यूज सिर्फ गूगल ही कर रहा है, उबर भी कर रहा है, ओला भी कर रहा है, और भी बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशन है, मे बी जोमेटो भी कर रहा है. ये हो सकता है कि ये लोग गूगल का सर्विस इंटरनली यूज करे, बट देन दे हैव प्रोविजन ऑफ हैविंग देयर ओन मैप टू डू दिस, राइट? So many applications can do this as users of map. So there are many third party companies which is specifically and dedicatedly working on this domain, right? So there are many authoritative source of the data for the map. Now first thing is it collects the data. Now these data might not be accurate, data might be accurate both, and then there are some internal data that it has. सो इंटरनल डेटा में वो सारे डेटा भी थे जो इसने पहले कलेक्ट करा था या कलेक्ट कर रहा है। वो ऑथोरिटेटिव डेटा का कलेक्शन तो इसका बंद नहीं हुआ है। सो इट हैज इट्स इंटरनल डेटा एंड देन इट हैज इट्स सैटेलाइट इमेज। सैटेलाइट इमेज रहता है, लाइक गूगल स्ट्रीट के बारे में मिस्टर प्रशांत ने पिछली बार बताया था। सो गूगल स्ट्रीट का भी डेटा रहता है, कैप्चर रहता है, राइट। सो ये सारे डेटा इसके पास रह रहा है। सो दीज आर देयर इंटरनल डेटा दैट दे क्लेम टू बी, कि ये अपना डेटा कैलकुलेट करता है। When these two sets of data is there, then there is lots and lots of algorithms. Sorry, this over here, this mean to be algorithm, and it is a spelling mistake. And lots of algorithms that is there working on that. Now these algorithms essentially basically identify. So these algorithms are image processing algorithm. इमेज प्रोसेसिंग एल्गोरिथम में क्या है कि इमेज को वो लोग प्रोसेस करता है एल्गोरिथम, एंड आइडेंटिफाइज ईच एंड एवरीथिंग इवन ऑन द पिक्सल लेवल। ठीक है, इवन ऑन द पिक्सल लेवल दे आइडेंटिफाई कि इस पिक्सल का मतलब क्या है। सो इफ देयर इज अ शॉप, इफ देयर इज अ रोड नंबर, इफ देयर इज a number written on the photo, what could have been the possible meaning of this? So there is some of the very strong tools that Google has, like Atlas. It is one of the tools name which is internally used, but somehow I came to know this name of this tool. So Atlas is one of the very strong tool which is based on certain machine learning. So it has some learning कि पहले बार अगर ये फोटो का मतलब ऐसा था, तो now I can say that this photo is also like this only. So there are lots of machine learning that goes behind that. And then there is a elbow grease. Elbow grease means हम अपने से भी उस पे अपना काम करते हैं, like we do our work, like human interference is there, lots and lots of human interference is also there to understand that. ठीक है, so to understand that कि वो सही है गलत है, maybe कि this is a road division, I am thinking कि वो road का color blue है, तो I am thinking कि वो नदी है। वो नदी नहीं हो सकता है, रोड का कलर ब्लू है, पिक्चर में वो ब्लू आया है, right? So that could be the reason. So you need to have someone, कितना भी machine learning कर ले, but end of the day में human brain is definitely required. So once this authoritative data and internal data is taken, it is compared together, and then algorithms with the help of tools and some human interference is there, and based on that a new set of data is prepared. But before that, let's take this thing कि चलो ये चीज को अभी होल्ड पे रखते हैं, we'll put this on hold. Now try to understand, if even if we have the data, how do we map it against the earth? End of the day में जो अभी हम लोग नेविगेशन करते हैं, या जो हमारा बेसिक पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है वो धरती ही है। अभी हम चंद्रमा पे जाने का रास्ता तो नहीं ढूंढ रहे हैं, ठीक है। सो नाउ how do we identify the location? So how do we project this onto the earth? So हमारे पास data आ भी जाए, so how do we project? So there are couple of projection algorithms right now, या उससे पहले भी था वो Atlas जब बनता था. So if you remember, if anyone would have Atlas at his home, तो multiple views में Atlas बनता था. So something like zigzag रहता था, कुछ अजीब shape में रहता था. So those are not basically अजीब shape, those are different projection of the globe onto 3D to 2D mapping. हमारा अर्थ 3D में, right? We are on the 3D, we exist in 3-dimensional sphere. But उसको जब हम पेपर में देखेंगे, so 3D to 2D mapping का there is a multiple projection methodology. One of the projection methodology, we call it as a Mercator projection methodology. So Google essentially follow the Mercator projection methodology, in which अर्थ को वो कैसे वो एज अ फ्लैट सर्फेस डिफाइन करता है, एंड देन बेस्ड ऑन, सो अर्थ एक बार हमको 2D में कन्वर्ट हो गया, तो देन व्हाट इमेज आई कैप्चर आई कैन रीइंपोज ऑन द अर्थ टू evaluate my data, or to put my data, or to put my map onto that earth thing. All right, so let's see this video to understand that how Mercator projection works for Google. Is it visible for everyone? So now see, this earth is there. So it is divided into multiple, from the center, it is divided into multiple segments. Remember this word, segments. And now these segments, agar is tarah se, if I can imagine, so this is also one of the, you'd have seen in Atlas, this is also one of the, isko thoda sa aur sharp karke dekhen. So this is also one of the projection that you would have seen in the Atlas for representation of the Earth. But जो इसका फाइनल मर्केटर प्रोजेक्शन में है, so what it does, ये इस तरह से करके ये join हो गया, and then you have formed the actual 2D map. So this is how a projection is done, and this projection can be simulated using system and it can be brought back in the earth shape. तो अब अगर हम इस पे कुछ डेटा डाल देते हैं, so अगर हम इस पे कुछ डेटा डाल देते हैं, तो that will be, इसमें अगर हम कुछ डेटा डाल देते हैं, तो that would be something कि इसको वापस अगर हम reshape करें, so we can reshape it to the shape of a globe, right? So essentially you project a globe from 3D to 2D, you put the data and bring it back to the form of the globe, right? So this is how the projection happens. All right, now once all these, so now we come back to this one. So we have the authoritative data, internal data, इन दोनों को हम मिलाते हैं, और इन दोनों मिलाने के बाद एक image बनता है, and that image we do some machine learning over that image, we apply some algorithms, we do some elbow greasing, and based on that we find our correct image. So that comes something like this. So if you look at this, so this is one of the sample taken from the Google. So initially the Google was suggesting something like this. Your navigation system was suggesting something like this. Now you see, this is not very accurate to the roads, right? Before image. But after then there was some manual intervention, there was some machine learning, there was some tools that was applied on this, and then this data become available. So now you can see this this data to be little more accurate. All right. So this is how I mean, still I can say that it is never 100% accurate. ऐसा नहीं है, because I prefer traveling a lot, so मैं Google Map को काफी use करता हूँ, and I see that many a places Google Map has given me wrong presentation of the road that is lying ahead. Many of the times, अगर मैं बोलूं, तो that is also comprising of 1% of the whatever I am available. Even in fact, 1% is also a big number, 0.1% or 0.5%. ठीक है? But there we cannot say that it is 100% accurate, because it has this human interference, and it cannot be done without those things. So there is always a scope of improvement. Yes. Now based upon the data that we, जैसे हम travel करते हैं तो हमारा data को भी capture करता है. So when you're using the Google Map, it gives you the when you sign the agreement, it gives you to capture your historical data. So आप किस रास्ते जा रहे हो, नहीं जा रहे हो, so it captures that. So based on the data that you provide, it may identify that this could be the potential good route for you, for someone else to use. तो ये हो सकता है कि when you are traveling from one source to destination, that route might be identified by you, कि boss, I am trying to go on that route, and that might not be by default suggestion to you by Google. But then if let's say you are using it and your friends are using it and their friends are using it, so some set of people have regularly used that, and they are like giving, I mean, that is being updated to Google. So maybe after that Google will start suggesting that route only, because they'll see that now this route is being used. So it is a ever evolving system. So it consumes lots of data, processes lots of data. It is all about the data that Google Map is. ठीक है? Any confusion in this? Any question? Okay, so how Google generate revenue? Google generating revenue by collecting user data from maps by own service or third-party service. See, revenues is not I mean, if I got your question correctly, so okay, for his information, so he's asking that how Google generating revenue by collecting user data from maps by own services or third-party services. So no, generally by collecting the data, no one earns the revenue. By using the data and then processing the data, revenue is basically earned. All right. Now, so जब Google के पास ज़्यादा data होगा, तो Google will be more reliable service for Ola to use. Why would Ola use Google if, let's say, Google is not reliable or Google is not that level of accurate, right? Ola or Uber for that matter. So Ola and Uber will use only when Google is having like good amount of accuracy. अब Google के पास डेटा ही नहीं है, तो वो उस accuracy को हो सकता है ना build up कर पाए, right? So जब Ola और Uber use करता है, then it may get some business out of that, right? So that could be one of the possible way out. If does that answer your question, Noor Nawaz?
ठीक है, I'll like to add on that.
Yes,
ठीक
please.
है, अब हो सकता है कि नवाज, आई मीन what you want to know is कि ठीक है, ये गूगल आखिर पैसा कैसे बना रहा है इस डेटा से, ठीक है? तो एक सिंपल से एग्जांपल लेते हैं, जैसे मान लो मैं एक होटल बिजनेस रन कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, एंड इफ आई वांट टू टारगेट कस्टमर्स, राइट, तो मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा कि मुझे किस सेगमेंट को टारगेट करना है? तो गूगल क्या होता है, अभी क्या हो रहा है, आप जैसे जैसे मैप यूज करेंगे तो उसे पता होता है कि आप कौन कौन से लोकेशन पे जा रहे हो, किधर जा रहे हो, कौन सा रूट यूज करते हो, ठीक है? तो अगर मैं एज ए होटल बिजनेस रन करना चाहता हूँ, तो आई नो कि अगर आप उस रोड से जाते हो या फिर आप रेस्टोरेंट बहुत फ्रिक्वेंटली विजिट करते हो, तो मैं किसको टारगेट करूंगा? आपको टारगेट करूंगा। तो ये जो डेटा है, ठीक है, आई मीन होटल्स व्हाट दे विल डू इज दे विल रीच आउट टू गूगल, ठीक है, सिंस गूगल हैज ऑल द डेटा, व्हाट एवर पीपल आर डूइंग, वेयर दे आर गोइंग, व्हाट दे आर डूइंग, ठीक है? तो उस डेटा को जब वो सेल कर सकता है, दे कैन प्रोवाइड इट टू दी होटल सो दैट दे कैन टारगेट देयर बिजनेस। तो इससे क्या होता है, मनी मेकिंग इसका ये यहाँ से ही होता है, बिकॉज सिंस आई नो इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट यू, आई विल पास इट ऑन टू थर्ड पार्टी सर्विसेज, बी इट नॉट ओनली ओला और उबर, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग, राइट? अगर मेरा बिजनेस है, इफ आई वांट टू टारगेट कस्टमर्स, आई विल पिक अप द डेटा फ्रॉम देयर एंड आई विल स्पेसिफिकली टारगेट यू, ठीक है? आई नो कि इफ आई टारगेट यू, आई विल बी एबल टू मैनेज माई बिजनेस, ठीक है? मेरे पास बिजनेस आएगा इफ आई एम एबल टू टारगेट यू। So that is how ये work करता है। Yeah, Paras, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So now out of 3 points of the agenda, so 1 point rendering, any issue regarding rendering, or maybe we can take the QA later. So if there is any issue, you can ping me. We'll take it up later. So moving on to the another big functionality, when we call it zoom in, zoom out. All right. So zoom in, zoom out is it's a evolving thing. पहले ऐसा नहीं था 2005 में when it started. Now zoom in, zoom out functionality or Google Map is said to be one of the best uses of JavaScript. How many of you have used JavaScript in your career? Anyone who has not heard of JavaScript can ping. Okay, so everyone knows about the JavaScript. JavaScripting ka one of the fantastic or the best uses that that has been done on this earth. Uska one of the good example is Google Zoom in Zoom out service or Google's Google Map, right? ये सारा चीज जो होता है, whatever you see on the screen, I mean, just I'm giving you a brief fact that ये जो भी चीज आप देखते हैं, this is generated via JavaScript. But now, how does this work in terms of Google actually in a little more detail? So instead of trying to render a single image, what Google does is it breaks the entire 2D map, वो जो हमने marketer projection से map बनाया, उस पे अपना data को impose किया. Now that Earth data is Google का अपना data है. Now what it does is that it breaks the entire thing into multiple tiles. ये छोटे छोटे टाइल्स हैं, जैसे हमने घर में अपना टाइल्स लगाते हैं ना, तो उससे फ्लोरिंग बनता है, सो उस तरह से इट ब्रेक्स इनटू टाइल्स. नाउ दिस आल्सो फर्दर गेट्स इनटू ब्रोकन इनटू टाइल्स. सो ये टाइल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन में ये रहता है. सो इट इज नॉट अ सिंगल इमेज. सो लेट्स से इफ यू आर लुकिंग दिस, सो यहाँ पे ये एक इमेज है, ये एक इमेज है, ये एक इमेज है, and so far. So we have the images. So these are multiple images, and images doesn't mean कि वो JPG form में सोचिएगा. Images just understand as a logic, I mean a conceptual group of information. Just understand this way. Okay, that would be easy for you to consume later. So एक image means कि एक group of information data है हमारा एक tile में. ठीक है. So now instead of trying single image में, उसको वो break down करके रखा हुआ है उसको different tiles में. All right. Now इसमें एक fun fact है. इसमें जैसे हम लोग zoom in zoom out जब करते हैं, so you know, like highest zoom in, I mean zoom out जब करेंगे हम लोग, so there would be around 500 million pixel per square unit. That's the level of detailed view that we can see. Now, do you know what will happen is, I mean, if we capture it from the image perspective, if it is not tiling, right? Now, what will happen is that if it is just image, so एक image के ऊपर, so that many pixel will be there per square unit of space. Now that means there are around 25,000 terabytes of data. अगर आप most zoomed in level पे अपने वो picture को देखते हैं, पूरे अर्थ को, let's say if you want to see on a big screen. Now if that is there, 25,000 of terabyte of data, so that means you will have a download time of 6 years. यानी कि एक अर्थ के मैप को देखने के लिए it will take around 6 years. So ideally, this is not possible solution. This could never be a possible solution, because इसमें सिर्फ यही नहीं रहेगा. बहुत, I mean, इसमें अगर हम लोग, if I think currently कि even if let's say there is no tiles, how we can do this? So we can say that हम हर यूजर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देख के आई कैन बिल्ड अप सम कैश्ड इमेज, कुछ इमेज को कैश कर लें, कुछ इमेज को सेकेंडरी मेमोरी में रखें, एंड देन उसके हिसाब से हम कुछ इमेज बना के स्पेसिफिक यूजर स्पेसिफिक रख लें. स्टिल द यूजर नंबर ऑफ डेली एक्टिव यूजर फॉर गूगल मैप इज 1 billion. 1 billion daily active users are there. So it is impossible for any big system or the biggest of the biggest system right now to give you the data as seamless as we are getting it now. Right? So you do not, even if you want to cache it, तो वो cache का भी data इतना बड़ा हो जाएगा कि उससे data को fetch करना मुश्किल है. I mean, end of the day, there is always some processing that happens, right? So there, this processing would be an issue. राइट. सो इसीलिए उस इमेज को हम छोटा छोटा कैसे तोड़ते हैं, टाइल्स में तोड़ते हैं. ठीक है. ध्यान रखना कि one of the biggest challenge in projection of the earth is that around 70 to 72% of the earth is water, ocean है. Now वहां पे नेविगेशन बहुत इजी नहीं, वहां का नेविगेशन सिस्टम डिफरेंट होता है. सो गूगल मैप एसेंशियली may not work कि अगर हम ओशियन के 2 पॉइंट को सर्च करना चाहे तो इट विल नॉट गिव यू द रूट. ठीक है, कि इसका रूट क्या है. सो इट हैज टू आइडेंटिफाई कि कहां इसका ये खत्म है. Now imagine the situation, let's say कि if you are standing on India Bangladesh border or India Nepal border, right, and you're looking for Uber, looking for any nearby restaurant, it cannot suggest you ki this restaurant is in Nepal now. So it needs to honor the boundary of your country also. See, these are different parameters. These are different aspects that Google Map has to take care. Right? हो सकता है कि point A to point B का जो रास्ता है वो shortest होगा, but बीच में वो कोई दूसरा country का land आ जा रहा है, which is impossible for you to go. So it has to manage. That means it needs to know this is my different country's land, this is my different country's land. So there could be that might not be possible. right? So in that case, it will suggest you the longer route, even if shorter route exists, but that is not doable, right? So these are the different parameters, or it is few of the examples of different constant that is taken into the consideration by Google Map services, and there are many more. ठीक है? So इसीलिए उस image processing, so idea is that why tiling is important, because tiling can categorize, compartmentalize the information about the image. Now, tile can further be broken into tiles, and that can further have its own. So one tile, the smallest unit of tile, will be sufficient to describe about its information, right? So nice thing. So that is that is the advantage of using the tiling in your map, right? Another thing is that हमने बताया कि ये कर सकते हैं कि पर यूजर हम कुछ इमेजेस को स्टोर करके रख सकते हैं. But tiling के केस में it could be shareable. We do not have to store it like per user. Like even if it is cached, ये image अभी जैसे कि let's say कि बैंगलोर का image. So हम बैंगलोर का image बैंगलोर के नियर अबाउट सर्वर में, अब उस डिटेल में नहीं जाते हैं कि उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम कैसा है, बट बैंगलोर के नियर अबाउट सर्वर में हम बैंगलोर का एक इमेज रख दिए हैं उस टाइल में. So what tile can be shared across everyone who is accessing from the from Bangalore location. No need to go to the database and fetch it from there, right? So so that is why. So tiling is basically shareable. It can be cached, and it can be further upgraded, downgraded, and even if it is bigger than the size of your screen, size of your thing, it can be further broken down. All right. So that is the advantage of tiled map. So Google essentially uses tiled map. Now, when you do the tiled map, so what happens is that if you see the world, so now this is one tile. Let's say, I mean, let's say let's have it at zoom level 0, one tile. So zoom level 1, there will be, and this is how exactly Google follows the algorithm. कि zoom level 1 में क्या होगा कि it will become a 4 tile representation. Zoom level 2 में क्या होगा 16 tiles representation. Zoom level 3 में 64 tiles representation, right? So as and when you start zooming in, so you will have that multiple tiles coming into the picture. More and more tiles that is coming into the picture means more and more information about that particular location you have started getting. Now this is the Earth's, I mean the entire globe's perspective. Similarly, on your local space also, local जगह पे आप जहाँ पे भी हैं, let's say if you are sitting in Ranchi, let's say you are sitting in Patna or anywhere for that matter, आप जहाँ पे भी हैं, so if you are zooming in, so that means you are asking more and more tiles about that particular location. जो आपका current cursor positioned है, उस पे आप कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. आप ध्यान देना कि like if you go to any Chrome window, you do a right click, you will get lots of options. Right, some default option, copy paste, ये सब चीज. But Google Map disables even your right click also. So as long as you're there on the Google Map, map.google.com, उस screen पे आप अगर अपने laptop पे हैं, so you cannot do a right click and do some other stuff. Google right click में भी some Google Map के ही functionalities आएंगे, not a regular Chrome functionality. So it completely controls the inputs or the input stream that is coming to the Google Map. So now, so that means your mouse position is important information for Google to identify which area you are trying to look up into. All right. So now, so that is how the zoom in, zoom out happens, right? So I mean, just for the information, so when you are at 0, so it's 256 by 256 pixel per square tile, and every incrementation, doubles the size of the doubles the size in each direction. So in width, in the width and length, both will increase by, I mean, it gets increased by 2, right? So and then when you combine it, so then it becomes a map, right? So again, some important facts for this is, so generally, and when I say generally, depending upon the position, like ऐसा नहीं कि हर जगह Google का ये zoom level है, but like in United States, or maybe some 8-tier metropolitan cities. So Google has 21 level of zoom level. ठीक है कि उतने लेवल तक आप zoom कर सकते हैं. Now every zoom, as I said, it doubles the tile width, क्योंकि double करता है width में, double करता है length में, तो it becomes like double in total size, right? And so when zoom level is at 21, so 2 million tiles wide are there, and 4 trillion tiles are total into the display. When I say for the earth, entire earth, right, that many tiles are there. So that is like 4 million tiles. So you imagine every tile contain the information for that specific reason, right? Now I'll come to the fact कि ये tiles को कैसे use किया जाता है rendering में. ठीक है, because this is where we started our journey कि end of the day में ये सारे data तो है server पे, but ये हमको render कैसे होता है? That is what our big question is, right? That is the elephant in our room. So we have to identify कि वो कैसे render होता है. But understand these are the different data structures, and I will walk you through some of the algorithms. जो हमने, in fact, these data structures, when I'll speak of, you would have studied in your college time. ठीक है, या फिर अगर आपके अभी आप कॉलेज में हो, 3rd ईयर में, 4th ईयर में हो, तो यू वुड हैव स्टडीड. 2nd ईयर में डेटा स्ट्रक्चर जनरली रहता है, यू वुड हैव स्टडीड दैट. ठीक है, बट उस तरह से कभी सोचे नहीं होंगे कि उस तरह का यूज होता है या उसका एक्सट्रापोलेटेड यूज कैसे किया जाता है, ये चीज नहीं सोचे होंगे. तो अभी सोचो, उस चीज को समझो, यू विल रियली एंजॉय इट. ठीक है, सो नाउ अब इसमें भी ये है, एज आई सेड, कि ये बहुत ज्यादा लोकेशन स्पेसिफिक है. ठीक है, कि हर लोकेशन में यू विल नॉट गेट एवरी डिटेल. जो जैसे कि अगर हम शहर में हैं, तो शहर में बहुत सारे लोकेशंस हमको मिल जाएंगे, लाइक कि स्ट्रीट व्यू क्या है, आई मीन नॉट ओनली स्ट्रीट व्यू, रादर की स्ट्रीट नेम क्या है, व्हाट इज माय रोड नंबर, block number, all those things you may get when you are dealing with a city. But maybe in urban places wo roads nahi aayenge. You may see that when you pinpoint that, you might have seen ki unnamed road, right? That road is not yet named. ठीक है, तो उसमें बहुत सारा, उसमें zoom in level जो है वो थोड़ा कम होगा than what you can do in the city, because it is not having that much of data to present, right? So that is managed by the tile. So every zoom level has its own style, or two own style, and with respect to its location where you are trying to zoom in, right? And as I earlier said, like these are like constantly and well trained. There's a very tough training that is given to the staffs, those who manually, because these require lots and lots of manual intervention to balance the levels. लेवल का मतलब लेवल समझ रहे हो कि अगर लोकेशन का कोई पिन पॉइंट है, लाइक इफ देयर इज अ टेंपल, इफ देयर इज अ बिजनेस, इफ देयर इज अ स्कूल, इफ देयर इज अ हॉस्पिटल, राइट? सो उसको बैलेंस करने के लिए देयर इज कॉन्स्टेंटली हार्ड वर्किंग टीम व्हिच मैनुअली वर्क्स बिहाइंड दैट is available. And then there are many of the powerful tools which I've already spoken of, like Atlas and machine learning tools are there, which actually works to identify these business or POIs. A POI is important concept in terms of the map or in the area of map, which we call is as a point of interest. कोई भी एक location जो identifiable होना चाहिए, that we identify as a POI, and that is identified uniquely latitude and longitude. ठीक है? So this is how you zoom in, zoom out, and you see that how seamless this zoom in, zoom out is basically. So before 2013, there was some different set of technology that was working. Users were less, and support was less. Support means to the countries where all these features were available in its own spirit. Those were less at that time. Post 2013, there was an important release to Google Map, and that was called the vector tile. The idea of vector tiles was there. Basically, vector maps were there. So vector map means, so every tile is a representation of a vector. Vector means vector को पता होगा, scalar vector. I mean, you'd have heard, studied in C++ std map में vector पढ़ा होगा, list पढ़ा होगा. And it's another data structure, right? So it's a vector of information. Now vector has its own properties. So Google, in fact, if you use C++ of the Google, Google ke andar mein, so the performance, the functionalities of a vector of that is being used in Google is, it's absolutely it's much above than what we generally see in std vector. std vector means जो C++ के by default vectors में आते हैं. ठीक है. So I mean, have you heard of stl vectors, everyone? C++ का? Okay, we'll check it later. All right. So this std, it is a very enhanced and very functionally rich data structure that Google has come up with. One of that data structure is called vector, right? So it contains, so the advantage of this is that a vector is there which contains your level, path, polygons, and then there is and it compresses the images. So again, as I said earlier, that when you say image, it is not that JPG format image. It is the data that represents the image. Basically, that metadata about the image or the metadata about the content that could be shown into the image. So उसको वो compress करके वो लाता है so that कि आपका download आसानी से download easy हो जाए. अब हम zoom in कर रहे हैं तो यानी you need to have a new set of data. बिकॉज जूम इन करेंगे तो हमको हो सकता है कि अब हमको स्कूल्स दिखने लगे, हॉस्पिटल दिखने लगे, तो वो जो जूम इन जूम आउट में हमको डेटा चाहिए होता है वो तो डाउनलोड होगा. मान लीजिए कैश डेटा नहीं है तो सो इफ यू हैव टू डाउनलोड इट, इट हैज टू बी वेरी फास्ट. दैट मींस द कंटेंट शुड बी स्मॉल. if the content is small, network is good, then you'll download will be fast. So at least content small तो एक condition बन सकता है. So what it does, the vector compresses the data more efficiently than any other compressed mechanism. ठीक है. And उसमें you can, there is lots of dynamic updates that can happen, like especially like when that live trafficking जब हम लोग देखते हैं तो उसमें जो image render होता है, so that there you need to have some dynamicness in the image rendering. So that can also be done via a vector because that is being used. ठीक है. So these are the things. So how if I have to you know draw some diagram. So let's say ki this is my in output, sorry. So this is my web UI, or this is my client, and there is my server. Okay, so this client जब हम लोग map.google.com खोलते हैं, so एक चीज इसमें आता है what we call as a, or we can say it as a painter. So painter is the one which actually reads my vector, and this vector gets updated from server, right? So this vector contains the thing. This painter is maybe you can say it in the simpler word, JavaScript reader or parser जो बहुत efficiently इसको parse करता है, इस vector के data को parse करता है और उसको paint करता है. So that's how you start getting the screen like this, or whatever you are seeing वो उस तरह से हो रहा है. So that is seamless thing. So vector update होते रहता है, painter उसको read करते रहता है, and it keep painting locally. तो इसमें बहुत ज्यादा क्या है कि सर्वर से मेरा कनेक्शन नहीं हो रहा, प्रोसेसिंग मेरे अपने क्लाइंट साइड ही हो रहा है, तो मेरे लिए फास्ट है. हमको सिर्फ छोटा चंक ऑफ डेटा चाहिए एंड वील डू द प्रोसेसिंग ऑन आवर क्लाइंट साइड, तो मेरे को ये फास्ट हो जाता है. ठीक है. सो दैट्स हाउ बेसिकली जूम इन जूम आउट वर्क. Yet there are other different aspects like panning is there, and many other aspects are there in this, which I don't think as of now we can cover in this short duration. But this is how high level zoom in zoom out works on the for Google Map. All right. Any question you have? You can ping the question. Okay, I mean, just in between this, I can say that see, there are many of the topics that we have studied in our academic career. Especially, I think if I mean, अब सब लोग इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड के होंगे, राइट? या फिर या तो कॉलेज पास आउट में होंगे या कॉलेज में पढ़ रहे होंगे. So there are few subjects like data structure. Never take that. They take that if you are an aspiring engineer or you want to be at a good position or good company working with a good set of companies outside. I mean, after your college, so and good set of company not only in your financial terms but also जहाँ पे innovative काम होता है, जो actual engineering work होता है, वहां पे अगर आप aspire करते हैं. So there are few foundational things that you always need to understand. आप लोग जब ये पढ़ रहे हो, so it is very important कि आप data structure को जरूर पढ़ो. Generally क्या होता है कॉलेज में, people run behind, और हम लोग भी जब कॉलेज में थे, people do run behind the languages. ये लैंग्वेज है, वो लैंग्वेज है. डू यू नो कि देयर इज नो लैंग्वेज टेस्ट दैट इज डन इन माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, गूगल, अमेजॉन, इन सब कंपनी में, एंड फॉर दैट मैटर एनी सच कंपनीज, ई कॉमर्स कंपनी राइट नाउ इन द मार्केट, अनलेस इट इज वेरी वेरी स्पेसिफिक टू द पर्टिकुलर टीम. ठीक है, कि कोई एक फ्रंट एंड का टीम है लेट्स से, तो वही सिर्फ लैंग्वेज टेस्ट करेगा भी. ठीक है. So I have cleared Microsoft, I have cleared Google, I have cleared Amazon, and then I because of certain offers and all those negotiations, I chose to be in the Amazon. Yet in none of these colleges there was a single question asked about language. I'm not saying languages are not important. Yes, it is a driving force, but you need to learn data structure. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और वो हर चीज जो आप डेटा स्ट्रक्चर में पढ़ते हैं, एक एरे कैसे काम करता है, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. सो दैट इज योर फाउंडेशन ऑफ योर इंजीनियरिंग. सो प्लीज डू टेक दोज थिंग्स सीरियसली व्हाइल यू आर स्टडीइंग दैट. ठीक है. इनफैक्ट जब आप सी प्लस प्लस पढ़ते हैं, सो उसमें भी रहता है. सो डोंट लर्न सी प्लस प्लस इन इट्स इन द इन टर्म एज अ लैंग्वेज, रादर ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग कैसे होता है. व्हाट इज ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड? दैट इटसेल्फ इज अ थ्योरी, दैट इटसेल्फ इज अ PhD thing, right? DSA is difficult. How I start? I always get confused. All right. So I'll do one thing. So maybe at end of this session, I'll have spare 10 minutes where we'll discuss about कि कैसे क्या होता है high level, and if we feel, then we'll take it forward in our next talk. ठीक है. What is the main application of DSA? DSA के बिना कुछ नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. तुम डेटा कैसे अरेंज कर रहे हो, डेटा कैसे रिट्रीव कर, हर जगह तो डेटा का खेल है. अभी के वर्ल्ड में एवरीवेयर, फेसबुक, अभी भी फेसबुक पे फिर से चोरी का इल्जाम लगा है. So what happens is they play with the data. So understand, data is wherever the data is there, you need to store the data. Data structure means not graph, queue, stack, and so forth. Data structure means any methodology in which you store the data in a way that it is easy to retrieve, easy to update. ये जब भी हम यूज करेंगे तो you need to have certain data structure in place. Simple. इतने लाइन को सोचना है. उसके बाद फिर देखते हैं कि कैसे उसको यूज करना है, उसको कौन सा डेटा स्ट्रक्चर यूज करना है. ठीक है. मे बी कि एरे को हम एरे की तरह यूज ना करें. एरे को आई कैन यूज एज अ स्टैक, एरे को एज ए क्यू हम यूज कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. बट वी विल गेट इनटू दिस डिटेल्स. सो बट द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज, यस, डेटा स्ट्रक्चर इज वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट. इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर एट एनी एज. लाइक अगर हम अभी भी इंटरव्यू दें तो they might ask me the question that you guys are studying in your college. All right, it's been around 15 years, but still those are the foundational knowledge that you need to have. Anyway, so we'll cover, I'll at least 5 minute ke liye we can talk about this thing. Okay, anyway, so let's move on. Can we move on for now, Gyan Prakash? End of the session we'll cover it. All right. Okay, so the third in the agenda was the navigation. So navigation क्या होता है कि एक पोजीशन से दूसरे, so from source to location, source position to destination position का रूट को जानना और आप उसमें मूव कर रहे हैं. So आपके पोजीशन को तो चलो जीपीएस के थ्रू आइडेंटिफाई किया जा रहा है, ठीक है. Now GPS is there, internet is there, internet towers से triangulate होके आ जाता है. So there is very evolved way right now to triangulate your position on map on earth. ये हो जा रहा है. But एक famous line है traveling salesman problem. ठीक है, you just search in Google. ठीक है, because this was the first thing that I thought of when I was deep diving within the Google map कि Google map कैसे काम कर सकता है. ठीक है, so Google, क्योंकि आप यहाँ से if I give path from here to even any connected sea route to, let's say अफगानिस्तान का देते हैं, काबुल का देते हैं, Google might give me some way to Afghanistan, and for that matter चलो within a country देते हैं, so कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक के बीच का रूट हमको वो दे देगा. Right now there would be many points that is there in between Kashmir to Kanyakumari. How does it calculate that, right? And then with that I studied, उस समय जो मेरे पास क्वेश्चन था कि how does it calculate this the shortest distance between these two paths. Now at that time I studied another problem, that was a traveling salesman problem, which we studied at the college level जब हम लोग पढ़ते हैं. Traveling salesman problem. This is a famous problem which is not yet solved on it's completely ये solved नहीं हुआ है. NP hard problem में आता है, and अभी भी जो solve हुआ है, it is up to 17 level of graph. It's graph widely used in map. ठीक है, so up to 17 or 23 level, I don't remember exactly, but up till that point only traveling salesman problem का जो algorithm है, that is efficient. So basically traveling salesman problem का ये है कि दो पॉइंट के बीच में shortest path निकालने में like there's a salesman who is travel, so he has to identify which is the shortest path, and there's some other parameter, what could be the best way to do that. ठीक है, so उसका जो existing algorithm है, that is covering only 23-24 parts. So in terms of if I search from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, how it will consider, how many path it will consider, वो कितने multiple paths होंगे, for that matter कितने multiple paths होंगे. Let's say कि आपके पास Google Map नहीं है, तो आपके पास, आप कैसे सोचोगे हम इस पाथ पे जाएंगे, फिर वहां से कौन सा छोटा होगा, कौन बड़ा होगा, वापस आके जाएंगे, मतलब वो impossible task है. But Google is doing it, right? So how does this navigation happens, right? For Google, that is one of the important thing to think about, right? So उसमें दो part होता है whenever we talk about the navigation. One is source, another is destination, and both are identified by a unique identifier called longitude and latitude. ये unique होगा, ठीक है. And इसी part में we'll see कि ETA कैसे calculate होता है. Basically estimated time of arrival. So when you are, let's say कि आप दे रहे हो, so Google say you that you will reach this position by this time after this many hours. So how does it calculate that, and how accurate is that? Like if for me as an experience in Bangalore, it is never accurate in terms of the traffic जब हम लोग निकलते हैं, because the traffic situation is so bad कि आप एक signal पे आधा घंटा रहते हो. Even Google cannot understand that this is going to be half an hour. उसको लगता है 5 मिनट का ट्रैफिक है, 10 मिनट का, बट आधा घंटा तक वो 5 मिनट ही रहता है उसके लिए. ठीक है, so that is not accurate, but in a broader perspective, how ETA is calculated. ठीक है, so now अब इसको हम लोग relate करते हैं how we studied the tiling system. So now you know the entire map is nothing but it's a small tiles that contains the information about a specific region or a specific segment of a earth. ठीक है. Now उसमें एक आता है, this is called quad tree. Now what is quad tree? Tree क्या होता है? Everyone knows. अगर कोई नहीं जान रहा है तो रेज कर दो, I can explain him tree. But it is important that you should know tree before quad tree. So tree is basically a non-linear data structure. ये भी हम लोग अपने academics में पढ़े हैं, right? Primarily there are two types of data structure. One is linear, another is non-linear data structure. Yes, it is parent and child nodes इसमें होते हैं. So in binary tree, what you would have studied in college is like one parent, two child, root and childs are there. But in a quad tree there could be there are, I mean binary का बाद आता है quad tree, तो quad tree में there will be 4 childs of everyone, right? This is just an extrapolation. Why 4 child? क्योंकि आप अगर ध्यान से देखे होगे तो if you would have seen that, तो see everything expand in, like now if you zoom 1 से zoom 2 में जाते हैं तो this is one section, this is second section, this is third section, this is fourth section. So every root has 4 child. अगर zoom 1 to zoom 2 जाते हैं तो every root has 4 child, right? 4 children. So that's why we bank on quad tree. ठीक है. So root, I mean अगर इसको high level में समझें तो root of the quad tree symbolizes the global map. ये एक general map है, and then it is broken down into, I mean हर level का map में उसको तोड़ा गया है. So 4 views for the world, and internally every view is further broken into different tiles. Now इससे पहले सर ने सुबीर सर ने आप लोग को बताया था A star algorithm के बारे में. So that is how that in the A star algorithm. So A star algorithm is कि एक blocked matrix पे जहां पे there are some blocking. So how do we identify the shortest route location? Basically searching, location searching के लिए. We'll not get into the A star algorithm again, but the blocks that is identified from position A to position B, right? So इस बीच में we can build up a matrix कि कहां जाना है, कहां नहीं जाना है, right? And then your actual working matrix gets prepared for source and destination, and in that there are blocked ways or the blocked tiles, which is like, that is you cannot go. That could be like an ocean, that could be a house, or कुछ भी हो सकता है, or that is not a road for that matter. ठीक है, वो उस तरह से बनता है. And then you do certain algorithm to identify the routes or do the searching, right? So uske liye, so imagine that tile thing that I said earlier matches with this structure. So this is how the extrapolation of the tile system, or the advantage of tile map is that it helps in the navigation as well, because you can break your entire data structure, entire data of world into such data structure. ठीक है. And then you can decide. So let's say there is a distance between A, B, C, D. So you can decide now. You can decide कि ये C का, let's say कि A और C के बीच का distance identify करना है. So now you imagine A और C के बीच का distance identify करना है, तो A और C में we can, okay, sorry, this was not getting cleared. No, one second. Okay, so now let's say कि A और C के बीच का distance ये करना है. So now we know कि A और C में C का कैसा tiling है. So उस हिसाब से I can generate some tiling, and then I can build the distance based on the A star algorithm. ठीक है. So that is how on a high level this route identification and the distance identification is done. For a simplistic example or for a simplistic representation, I can say कि इस तरह से एक class या structure define होता है for any quad node. Quad node क्या होता है? Essentially every quad node will have some coordinates. So some coordinate is defined as a longitude and latitude, and now quad node will have its own unique ID for that matter, and then इसके नॉर्थ में कौन सा है, साउथ में कौन सा है, ईस्ट वेस्ट में कौन सा है, ठीक है, and the coordinates, and is it a leaf node कि ये सबसे लास्ट वाला है, and what are the different coordinates it have, or it, I mean different coordinates means this is the PO I am talking about, ठीक है, द पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, और वो किस कोऑर्डिनेट पे है। सो जैसे कि एक स्मॉल टाइल्स में हमारा आ गया एक कॉफी शॉप है, एक लेट्स से कि साइबर कैफे है, एक लेट्स से कि कार रेंटल सर्विस का शॉप है। सो वो सारे these are the different coordinates or POI for that matter that is encapsulated. So this is how this entire data is captured. ठीक है, this is the entire data the way it is captured. ठीक है, so this is how the quad tree is. ठीक है, and this plays a big role in identifying your tiled map, और उसको help करता है navigation में. And then obviously it's not only the A-star search algorithm. Again, this is a good problem. Just imagine a situation कि अर्थ पे A to B का पोजीशन क्या होगा। अर्थ पे A to B का पोजीशन, क्योंकि हम अर्थ को तो हम मैप कर रहे हैं एज एक फ्लैट 2D स्ट्रक्चर में कर रहे हैं ना, उसमें 2D स्ट्रक्चर पे हम 3D डिस्टेंस कैसे निकाल सकते हैं, क्योंकि अर्थ तो मेरा स्फेरिकल है ना। फ्रॉम पॉइंट A टू पॉइंट B, ये जो हमारा सर्कुलर लोकेशन सर्कुलर पाथ है, दिस पाथ मे नॉट बी लाइक दिस, राइट, वो तो स्क्वीज हो जाएगा। सो उस चीज के एक्यूरेसी के लिए आता है द हैवर्साइन फार्मूला, which considers the spherical, or in fact this earth is not 100% राउंड, राइट। सो जो उसका जो भी शेप है, ओवल शेप है, उस शेप को कंसिडर करते हुए इट gives you the exact distance between two locations. So especially when I talk about the location from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, this distance will have the impact of sphericalness of the earth. So there is this Haversine formula that is used to take into the account of that to that sphericalness of the thing. Apart from that, we have the algorithms called a Dijkstra algorithm, which is used. Now, Dijkstra is a single source shortest path. I mean, it is from the single source to identify the shortest path, right? There are many other algorithms you'd have studied. Bellman-Ford पढ़े होगे, Ferguson पढ़े होगे, फिर MSP पढ़े होगे, minimum spanning tree. BST पढ़े हो, ब्रेड फर्स्ट सर्च, उसके बाद क्या होता था, डेप्थ फर्स्ट सर्च होता था. सो दीज आर मल्टीपल एल्गोरिथम्स दैट यू वुड हैव स्टडीड इन योर ग्राफ. ठीक है, सो ये सारे, बट दीज आर द इंपॉर्टेंट एल्गोरिथम्स. दीज आर नॉट ओनली फॉर समवन हु इज expert of someone who had been expert of Dijkstra would have thought of thinking of Google Map, or would have contributed to Google Map. So it is important that these foundational things, fundamental things, you should be master of at this point. ठीक है, so these are different algorithms that is there in the navigation play, but yes, it is used in a more detailed, more complex way than I'm explaining in 15 minutes. मतलब इतना 15 मिनट में हो जाता तो हर कोई अपना अपना गूगल मैप लिख के घूम रहा होता, right? So possible नहीं है, but then yes, high level, these are the areas which is deeply researched into. उसको अपने प्रॉब्लम के साथ अलाइन किया जाता है, and then it brings on the solution. Okay, so on high level, I can say that Google Map में if location जो navigational system है, how does it work? So एक system as a system architecture कैसा होता है? So let's say this is the user, it sends the location. Again, so there is a load balancer. इसके बारे में हम लोग थोड़ा सा बाद में एक slide और बनाया है. We'll see that. But generally, I think would have attended my scaling classes. They would have heard the load balancer is something which balances the load between multiple servers. So there is so just get a view of this. No need to understand this in full. So there are services. Ye services means these are the services which keeps running on the server to identify the user location. Route processing कैसे होता है. So route processing के लिए then there are lots of parameters that goes into the route processing. Traffic है, toll है, ये है, वो है, वो सारा चीज, सारा parameters होता है. ठीक है, then location service को हम जैसे location कहाँ पे हैं, where is your location service, you can share your location also, so that service is also there, right? You have a traffic update service now dedicated to traffic, अगर city में है, so this service, इसका service का बहुत ज्यादा use होता होगा, जो क्योंकि ये service जो है वो traffic update दे रहा है ना। traffic update ऐसा नहीं कि उसके लिए traffic को वो traffic को ये होना पड़ता है, what do you say, ट्रैफिक को ट्रैफिक सिस्टम से ऑनलाइन कनेक्ट होना पड़ता है, नो। ट्रैफिक मींस अब ट्रैफिक में कैसे होता है, लेट्स से कि जैसे हम दिखा रहे रेड है, ऐसा नहीं कि हम वो रेड है तो दैट मींस वहां पे जैम होगा ही, ये हो सकता है वो रेड 5 मिनट पहले का हो, उस समय जो 5 आदमी थे जो गूगल यूज कर रहे थे, दे वर स्टक ऑन दैट प्लेस। Now based on that Google analyzes, there is lots of machine learning that goes into this कि यहाँ पे 5 आदमी इस रोड पे क्यों रुका हुआ है, that means there is a potential chance of traffic jam, ठीक है। देन समवन में अपडेट की देयर इज अ, और न्यूज आता है या कुछ अपडेट गया कि देयर इज अ एक्सीडेंट हैज हैपेंड, सो जनरली हाईवेज पे इस तरह के अपडेट आते हैं कि एक्सीडेंट हैज हैपेंड, सो वो गूगल मैप पे रिफ्लेक्ट होता है कि एक्सीडेंट प्रोन जोन और एक्सीडेंट अकर्ड, उसके पीछे जाम दिखा रहा है, ठीक है। शहर में क्या है कि इट नोज कि यहाँ सिग्नल होगा, क्योंकि अगेन एज आई सेड कि इसके पास डेटा सारा है, वो टाइल्स में जब स्टोर करता है दैट मींस इट हैज ऑल द डेटा अवेलेबल, तो ये उस डेटा के साथ खेलता है, आई मीन इट यूजेस इट डज द बेस्ट यूज ऑफ दोस डेटा, तो इसको पता है कि यहाँ पे सिग्नल है, सो देयर इज अ पोटेंशियल चांस ऑफ ट्रैफिक जैम एट दिस पॉइंट, तो वो सब चीज को वो गूगल मैप में देता है। सो देर आर डेडिकेटेड सर्विसेज जो ये सब चीज पे रन करता है, जहां पे जो सर्विस ज्यादा चाहिए उसको उसे स्केल करता है, ठीक है। एंड देन यू फाइंड द एंड ऑफ द डे यू फाइंड योर गूगल का मैप, गूगल मैप का सर्विस आप अवेल कर सकते हो, ठीक है। सो उसी में हम लोग एक चीज देखे थे, ETA। Now, just as a fun time, I mean, I have mostly concluded my PPT. Only thing is, ki let's have some fun time. So now you see this, कि from Nagpur to Patna, ये अभी आप करके देख लो आपका गूगल मैप में, ये अभी का डेटा मैंने कैप्चर करा है। So it is showing 19 hour 34 minute, ठीक है, and distance is 969 kilometers. So this is your thing. So 969 kilometers में 19 hour 34 minute दिखा रहा है। But Noida to Patna, this distance is although greater, 1012 kilometer, but the time consumed is less. Right? This is the ETA thing. So now you know why I'm, and by any chance, anyone can say me why this is less? Anyone got the opportunity to travel from Delhi to Noida, Delhi to Patna recently? Yes, because of the expressway. So from Noida, you start with the expressway. I mean, this is one expressway, Noida Agra expressway. From Agra to Lucknow, there is another expressway, right? And from Lucknow to I think Ajamgarh till here, I think till here, there is an expressway, that Purvanchal expressway, right? So now these are entirely the expressway stretch. Okay, so except there is a in between, there is a city where you go on the high bypass and then connect to another expressway, but these are all the expressway that is there. So on expressway, so now Google के पास ये data है, so it can even see कि आपका वो expressway पे वो speed limit लिखा रहता है ना, roads पर generally speed limit लिखा रहता है, so it will capture that data and it will understand that for this road this is what the speed limit is, and based on that speed limit it calculates the time. यहाँ पे तो 100 किलोमीटर का स्पीड लिमिट है, तो एवरेज जो स्पीड लिमिट जाएगा वो ऑलमोस्ट 60 to 70 किलोमीटर पर आवर जाएगा, तो दिस इज व्हाट द टाइम इज। ऑलराइट, सो ये रहता है, बट अगेन इट इज नॉट 100%, इट्स नॉट 100% एक्यूरेट इन एवरी केस, देयर इज ऑलवेज एरर, क्योंकि बहुत बार क्या होता है कि एक खराब रोड से रीरूट कर देता है और वो रोड खराब है ये चीज उसको नहीं पता है, ठीक है। तो ये चीज उसको नहीं पता है या अभी तक पता नहीं चला है, तो उसमें वो टाइम कम दिखाता है, रोड खराब रहता है, तो दैट इज नॉट मीटिंग द व्हाट दे हैव सेड, ठीक है। वो खराब रोड पे हम 50 के स्पीड में तो गाड़ी नहीं चला सकते हैं, तो वो it will do it does a mismatch, right? But this is I'm saying about कि Google Map एक ETA calculate करने में there are so many parameters that it considers, right? But अगर हम यहाँ पे दो रास्ता हम दिखाएं, I missed to put that कि जैसे यहाँ से like Bangalore to Mahabalipuram, if I'll show you the thing, so even if one road is nearer or better, it will show you another road. Reason is कि उस road पे toll ज़्यादा है, so it is giving you the cheaper road. कि भाई ये road सस्ता है, इससे चले जाओ. Almost the time taken is almost same and the distance is little bit different, or time भी थोड़ा सा different है, but it does some machine learning, some analysis कि भाई इतना time से कोई बात नहीं, you'll save a good amount of money on the toll, so they'll suggest you different route. ठीक है. So my idea is that, see, these are the different parameters that it takes into the consideration while it calculates the ETA on this. Now another thing, if you look at this map, this map is India's map, right, on Google. Okay, now one second. Okay, now this is India's map, but if not sure, but if you will try connecting to VPN and you connect it to, let's say कि China में, अगर China से तो नहीं मिलता है, but if you, let's say, connect to some Pakistan, or if you want someone from Pakistan, अगर ये Pakistan, so for that matter someone looks at their country's map, तो उसको ये map में India कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. Sorry, उसको map में India कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. One second, ये ऐसा कटा हुआ रहेगा basically. ठीक है. So because of that POK reason. ठीक है. Now ये चीज Google कैसे कर सकता है? Can anyone think of this? कि इंडिया को मैप जब दिखा रहा है, हम यहाँ से मैप देख रहे हैं, ऐसे देख रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान से देख रहा है तो ये ऐसे देख रहा है. और एक समय में ये एक बहुत बड़ा पॉलिटिकल मुद्दा बना था, बिकॉज रशिया में जो मैप दिख रहा था उसमें ये ऐसा, व्हाट पाकिस्तान जो देखता है वही चीज रशिया में दिख रहा था. तो देयर वाज some political thing, some event happened over there, फिर गूगल उसको रिवर्ट किया. So but the point is कि anyone can know that ये कैसे, how does it happen? So basically the question is, let's say there is some disputed location between two countries where two different security forces are there, two different laws of the land is there. So ऐसे में Google कैसे manage करता है? Because of searching point by longitude by latitude. इससे कैसे होगा? You can unmute yourself and explain. Okay. So anyway, so I'll explain it. If you remember, मैंने ये बताया था कि यहाँ पे एक load balancer होता है, ये चीज होता है. So basically आप किस location से आप search कर रहे हैं ना, that is also a thing. So when you are searching from India, so it knows that this IP set or this request is coming from India. That is very easy to identify कि ये request कहाँ से आ रहा है, originate कहाँ से हो रहा है. ठीक है. So when the request is originating from India, let's have it in simplest term. When the request is originating in India or any country which honors the Indian map, right? So then that request will be treated as the request from the India, और फिर जो वो map को जो वो generate करता है, वो information भेजेगा जो इंडिया के हिसाब से है. But when it comes to the Pakistan side or any other side of the disputed land, so there वो information जाता है जो उसके हिसाब से है. ठीक है. So basically उसमें ये identify किया जाता है for disputed land display कि what is the source of my query, right? So source of my query is, if it is from India, then this, or if it is from one side of the disputed property, then this would be the system. If this is another side of the disputed property, this would be the system. बहुत सा चीज क्या है कि जैसे आप गूगल मैप में जाओगे तो लाइक यू कैनॉट सी द प्रेसिडेंट हाउस या प्राइम मिनिस्टर, आप 7 RCR नहीं देख सकते हो. यू कैनॉट जूम इन कि उसमें आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या हो रहा है. ठीक है, यू ट्राई सर्चिंग 7 RCR, एक बहुत दूर से ही दिखाएगा कि दिस इज व्हाट 7 RCR इज, जो प्रधानमंत्री आवास है. ठीक है, देर आर मेनी ब्लैक्ड आउट साइट इन इन गूगल. जो स्ट्रीट व्यू है या फिर जो सेट मतलब इमेज व्यू है, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट के अंदर का आप नहीं जा सकते हो. यू कैनॉट वॉक इन टू दोज प्लेसेस. So because of some informational, I mean, some sensitivity about the location, government can impose those things. So it also takes into the consideration of those things. So that means what I'm trying to say is, ये जो अभी जितना हम बताएं, so these are some minimal framework level stuff. ठीक है, इसके ऊपर there are lots and lots of logic, lots and lots of complex parameters that comes into the picture, and then they display it. और उसके लिए बहुत बड़ा set of servers, बड़ा set of, if I can say, if I imagine it could be the second or I mean second or third largest set of system that is running for the Google to in order to provide Google Map in the way, in the shape that we are availing it right now. जितना scaled product है, जितना seamless इसका services है, it is still a reliable service जिसमें everyone knows कि there is a good chance of 0.1% failure. Still people do use it because 99.99% का भी assurance देना in terms of such a complex world, complex map system of the world, it is very, very, very difficult, and Google is doing it. All right, so it is always it's good to explore about its functionality. How does it work technically? ये strengthen करता है. ठीक है. So on this note, I would conclude it. Now, if you have any question, you can shoot. Otherwise, I have one more thing to share with you. Yes. Yes, Gyan Prakash. I'll discuss that. All right.
1 second, Mr. Paras, 1 second. This students, one thing to inform you that we have already shared a link for DSA. We have mailed on that day also, 30th 1st of December, and today also a dedicated mail where we have actually asked you what are the topics that you want to learn. You want to have a seminar or webinar on DSA. So please fill that form so that we can arrange it in a proper manner. Okay. Mr. Paras, you can proceed.
All right. So so there are three things. So first thing is ki how I mean, that's a very genuine, and I really appreciate Gyan Prakash asking this question, that how do you basically learn data structure. And I think uske piche bhi uska mansha hoga ya samajhna cha raha hoga, and correct me if I'm wrong, ki how do you generate the interest toward learning the data structure. ठीक है. So data structure, and from where we should have started to learn about the data structure, from anywhere. I mean, pick any XYZ book. Any book is good, any book is bad if it is not taken in its own spirit. So data structure, सबसे बड़ा बात है कि book से नहीं पढ़ सकते हो. Book is like, it can give you a glimpse. Data structure तब मजा आता है, then you get the interest when you have the application of that. All right. So application of the data structure will give you interest towards this. So now, for example, let's say, for example, let's say, I mean, simple, take the example ki there is an array of in which number there is array of size 10, and one number is duplicated. ठीक है, one number is duplicated. only one number is duplicated. How would you find which number is duplicate? Now, is processing mein, I'm not asking you to do this processing right now, but if I'll say you, so is processing mein isko solve, most of us will do the provide the solution for this. Solve ho jayega, but solve hona is not the my end goal. ये efficiently solve हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है is my end goal. And once we start thinking about that efficiency, so okay, yeah, that's what. So there are multiple ways of doing it. You can have the loop, you can have the count and remove it. And every approach has some good some flaws, pros and cons with it. I don't want to get into that 100% detail of that, but point ये है कि जब हम उसके efficiency के point of view से सोचना शुरू करेंगे, so then we'll start thinking of कि what algorithm should be used, how efficient, because you imagine कि अब क्या है कि पहले जैसा हमारे पास liberty नहीं है. You write a certain piece of code which has to execute on your handheld mobile, right? उसमें limited resource है. So you have to think कि उसमें limited resource के हिसाब से my algorithm should be efficient enough which can consume less memory, it should be fast enough, तब जाके वो काम करेगा. So and then you have that अब एक application है, scale करते हैं billions में, लोग millions में, लाखों में लोग use कर रहे हैं. So it is important to have 100% focus on the efficiency of the algorithm. So जब हम इस तरीके से अपने किसी भी एक छोटे से छोटे प्रॉब्लम को समझेंगे, ठीक है, let's say I'll give you again another very primitive example कि let's say if you have to calculate average of two number, let's say average of two number, can anyone write what would be the, how, if I'll ask you to write the average of two number, what will be the formula you want to use? दो नंबर का एवरेज निकालने का फॉर्मूला क्या है? Can anyone write? I'll just take 1 minute over here. A plus B by 2, let's say A number, huh? Yes, A plus B by 2. But then you have this, the Gyan Prakash has rightly pinged, S minus E by S by 2. Now, what is the difference between these two? Now, A plus B by 2 is bound to have your integer overflow problem. But if you follow what Gyan Prakash has pinged, that is not bound to have that integer overflow problem. Right? So the idea is कि that is how you choose your certain algorithm. लेकिन अगर प्रॉब्लम ऐसा है कि जहां पे हमको इंटीजर ओवरफ्लो होगा ही नहीं, हम 1 से 10 के बीच में डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो व्हाई शुड आई गो फॉर एस वाला जो व्हाट ज्ञान प्रकाश हैज सजेस्टेड? सो when I say data structure, so it is not only array tree, it is also the study of what data structure to choose in which context. Right? So once you start studying into that line and length, you'll start getting a इंटरेस्ट इनटू डेटा स्ट्रक्चर, वो अपने आप समझ में आने लगेगा. अदरवाइज डेटा स्ट्रक्चर में ऐसा कोई चीज नहीं है जो हम अपने रियल लाइफ में नहीं देखते हैं. एरे देखते ही हैं, लाइन में लगते हो तो क्यू हो गया, बुक सजा के रखे हो तो स्टैक हो गया, वो तो होता ही है. हम ये करें, वो करें, वो करें, वो करें, चलो ये पहले कर लेते हैं, बाद में ये कर लेंगे, उसके बाद ये कर लेंगे. व्हेन यू डू such choosing, you are doing a topological search जो ग्राफ में यूज होता है. ठीक है? So you are doing all those things around you. Only thing is you need to relate it to the academic, you need to understand it. So once you start doing that, your interest will learn, and then you think कि इसको कैसे better कर सकते हैं, कैसे और efficient कर सकते हैं, and then you slowly move on to system computer science पे इसको कैसे implement कर सकते हैं. That is the ideal way of learning and understanding the data structure. ठीक है? Actually, I mean, this was a good topic. So we are actually having this program, if screen is shared or not. So we are coming up with certain program basically. And I'll just take Subir sir 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, not 10 minutes, 2 minutes.
Yes, yes, yes. No problem. No problem.
So
Yeah,
so basically, I mean, we will again have a detailed program on this about the career counseling, how to choose और what company में किस तरह के company में जाना चाहिए या नहीं जाना चाहिए या ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. How do you, वो सब जो एक dilemma होता है, ये company वो company, उस dilemma के बारे में we can discuss it. Like हम लोग एक तो उस दौर से गुजरे हैं. We have actively been part of different placement. I mean, the recruitment team of our companies, which goes to almost all type of college, tier 1 college to IIT to LPU, all colleges. हमारे team जाते हैं. Even I have been part of that. I have been in management of that. So we can share with you all these experiences कि ये कैसे हो रहा है, especially in terms of the upcoming recession. It would be very much required कि आप लोग उस चीज को समझे कि कैसे प्रिपरेशन करना है, right? So we can say कि इसमें हम लोग ये product based company होता है, जहाँ पे मतलब वहां पे एक अलग ही नेचर ऑफ डेवलपमेंट होता है. देन यू हैव सर्विस बेस्ड कंपनी, सो वहां पे अलग नेचर ऑफ डेवलपमेंट है. बट देन उन दोनों को मैच कहाँ पे करते हैं, रिक्रूटमेंट कहाँ पे होता है, रिक्रूटमेंट में कैसे वी कैन you can program yourself or plan your a comprehensive recruitment program. So see guys, अभी क्या है कि India initially started with a service-based company. India was a service hub. Everyone knows that, right? So that was the time when Infosys came into the market, TCS came into the market, and then the Accenture, the companies, foreign companies like Accenture, HP, those jumped into Indian market, right? अब तो बहुत ज्यादा service-based company है जो Indian market में है. And then India में भी कुछ Wipro अपना develop हुआ, Satyam develop हुआ, Aditi develop हुआ. So there are lot of companies that is in-house companies, those who are doing very brilliant in the entire world. तो वो सर्विस बेस्ड कंपनीज है. तो इन कंपनीज का क्या काम होता था, दे यूज्ड टू रिक्रूट पीपल, दे यूज्ड टू ट्रेन पीपल, और कोई एक ऐसे प्रोडक्ट के बारे में, कोई एक ऐसा प्रोडक्ट या ऐसा कस्टमर को चूज करता था जो अपना आईटी डिपार्टमेंट नहीं बनाना चाहता था, और अब वो अपना आईटी काम को देता था दूसरे को. ये एक मोटा मोटी है कि सर्विस बेस्ड कंपनी एक में कैसे काम होता था. बट दैट वाज हाईली डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द क्लाइंट. बट एंड ऑफ द डे में समवन इज देयर टू बिल्ड द प्रोडक्ट, राइट? सो जैसे आप एग्जांपल के लिए माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल, बहुत सारी कंपनीज का काम माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल पे होता है. तो वो कंपनी जो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल पे काम करती है, वो किसी बंदे को रिक्रूट करती है जो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल जानती है. So now that banda is a service, giving service for the Microsoft Excel to that company. So वो सर्विसिंग हो गया. बट नो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल भी तो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का प्रोडक्ट है. सो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट उसको डेवलप किया होगा. सो वहां पे दूसरे तरह का काम होता है, ठीक है? As a research and innovation, you can say that yes, generally on a product based company there is good amount of research and innovation that is done across all sections of development. सर्विस बेस्ड में थोड़ा सा इट इज मोर अबाउट द क्लाइंट बेस्ड थिंग. आई मीन सर्विस बेस्ड की भाई जिसका काम हो रहा है उसको खुश रखो, यही है उसका फंडा है. बट आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि दैट इज अ बैड इंडस्ट्री, दैट इज आल्सो अ वेरी गुड इंडस्ट्री टू वर्क विद. सो बेसिकली वी आर कमिंग अप विद अ सर्टेन प्रोग्राम जहां पे हम लोग इस सारे कंपनीज को लेके, अब इंडिया में दूसरी बात है कि अब जो है प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनी भरी हुई है. नो यू कैन, आई नो सर्टेन कंपनीज जो अपने न्यू ज्वाइनी को, इट वाज द न्यूज ऑफ 2019 इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, 2019 और 18 इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, कि न्यू ज्वाइनी को एक स्टार्टअप ज्वाइनिंग डे पे हार्ली डेविडसन दे रहा था एज अ ज्वाइनिंग बोनस, ठीक है? That is the reality of India. So there's lots and lots of money in India. Startups, बहुत अच्छे startups हैं जहाँ पे आप एक साल भी काम करो, you learn like anything, and उसके बाद full dimension of your IT industry is open for you. So वो मतलब you can say कि sky limit है. तो उस तरह के स्टार्टअप्स हैं. सो प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड, बेसिकली प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनीज बन रहे हैं इन स्टार्टअप मोड में, सेटल्ड मोड में है. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का यूएस के बाद सबसे बड़ा ऑफिस इंडिया में है, ठीक है? अमेजॉन का यूएस के बाद सबसे बड़ा वर्क स्ट्रेंथ इंडिया में है. ठीक है. सो दोज थिंग्स आर देयर. गूगल एक्सपैंड कर रहा है, और उस तरह से बहुत सारे, ओला, उबर का, सबका, उबर इज अ यूएस कंपनी, यहाँ पे उसका बहुत बड़ा डेवलपमेंट सेंटर है. ठीक है. सो इस तरह से बहुत सारे कंपनीज हैं जो यहाँ पे है. उबर का ज्वाइनिंग सैलरी इज अराउंड 50 लाख पर एनम. आई मीन इमेजिन, ज्वाइनिंग सैलरी उस तरह से दे रहा है. सो उस तरह का इन लोगों का सैलरी पैकेजेस होता है, right? So it is important that at the right stage of your student career you start thinking about these things. उसी चीज को लेके, like, हम तो इससे पहले भी have involved in academics, so we planned for a comprehensive course which will cover almost all sections of the colleges. ठीक है. Which will cover almost all section of the colleges, कि सारे colleges में क्या पूछा जाता है in terms of data structure, in terms of object oriented programming, in terms of language, in terms of project, which is one of the key thing right now for any top notch company, कि आप क्या प्रोजेक्ट किए, because most of the questions will revolve around the project that you have done. ठीक है. तो that is there. So वो projects basically ये project driven होगा, so that कि आप उस चीज को समझ सके, नॉट ओनली कि वो आपको रटाया जाएगा, वो उस कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं है. ठीक है. लेकिन आप उस चीज को समझ सके, आप उस चीज को डिलीवर कर सके जब उसका जरूरत हो, नॉट ओनली इन द इंटरव्यू बट ऑल्सो from college to corporate. There is a big gap in the nature of work that we do. ठीक है. हम लोग, मतलब, for me my 12 years of career is on completely C++ as a backend engineer. ठीक है. But I have never written int main in my code. So int main का concept ही खत्म हो गया है. और जब कॉलेज में थे तो int main से के बिना कुछ शुरू ही नहीं होता था. So that is a drastic change. So कोड कैसे बनता है, कोड कैसे लिखते हैं, कोड कैसे मैनेज करते हैं, 50 आदमी एक ही कोड पे काम कर रहा है, कैसे मैनेज करते हैं, वो नॉलेज भी होना जरूरी है. So that कि it's not only cracking the gate, rather it is in settling to the corporate in a best possible way. क्योंकि इनिशियल मोमेंटम अगर अच्छा रहता है ना, तो लाइफ लॉन्ग मोमेंटम अच्छा बनता है. We have struggled, I have struggled personally वहां पे सेटल करने में. ठीक है. बिकॉज हम जब आई वॉज प्लेस्ड विथ ऑरेकल, एंड when I was there sitting in the room, people around me, वो कुछ लोग आए थे जो यूनिक्स में अपना पेपर्स पब्लिश किए हुए हैं. they have contributed to writings to certain functionalities of Unix kernel. ठीक है. So it is important that how you settle yourself in your initial days. So this program, this scale up, you can reach to emancipation team for further details. This scale up program is driven by emancipation, and we are working on with them to actually bridge this gap and scale up the student to get placement, get in the topmost position in the placement drive, and placed in the corporate sector once they are into the corporate, right? So ये चीज है. ठीक है. So and if you want any further detail that you can reach to the emancipation team, Subir sir or Ranjan, you can reach to them. They'll provide you the link for that. ठीक है. So that's all from my side, guys. If still you have any question, you can ask on the chat. You want to unmute and you want to ask, you can ask it. And apart from that, if you think that you want to have some time to frame your question, and कल के डेट में भी कुछ सोच पाए हो या सोचते हो या कुछ क्वेश्चन आता है, just shoot an email that will be shared by the emancipation team, and we'll take the question. We'll try to answer in our next tech talk.
And one more thing, actually, I want to inform them that we are also having an hackathon, and hackathon which is having your cash prize. So links are already shared. Links are already shared with the students. So please explore yourself, because learning and attending a class is a different thing, but participating in such type of event will actually groom you, actually will make you learn that what things need to be done and what things you have done. One more thing is that the hackathon system is so user friendly that the students will get the mentorship also. Means we are actually using a new concept where it's not that you will have to submit directly. Means the after first level of submission you will be provided mentor, a dedicated mentor, and you will be given mentorship for a day, and after that you will actually submit the project. So the links are already shared with you all. Please register. Actually, this event is not free, but all those students, all those candidates who are actually attended our webinar, for them hackathon is free. We are not charging anything for them. So please register and explore it up. The second thing that I want to actually express that the the important points explained by Mr. Pathak and Mr. Jaswal is that everything that you learn in a Google Map or any such thing is actually being connected with your DSA only. So if you are actually planning for a product-based company as suggested by them, you have to have some knowledge, some exposure towards those 5 to 6 fundamental concepts that we are actually discussed. And for that reason we had actually created designed a special course for that. And that particular course will make you groom by the mentor from the industry for the industry. Means it's not that you are not being given training, it's not that you are not being given classes from your colleges, or your colleges teachers does not teach you well. It's not that like that at all. They are exceptionally well. I think all the teachers that taught you are exceptionally well, but the things that actually required in the industry will only be mentored by a person from industry. And for that, this course is actually being designed. So please keep in mind about these. And we are basically hopeful that you all associate with us in hackathon. And hackathon, a free registration hackathon for you all, where you can actually explore your dream, explore your concept, explore your idea, and can groom yourself in a proper manner. With this, I actually want to thank my team, my experts, Mr. Paras, Mr. Prasad, for giving the time from their busy schedule for interacting with the students, for presenting in various technical and various experience that they have from the industry. And I hope that all the students who are connected here will have an idea that what we have presented them, and will use this in their life. So I want to conclude this event by thanking my expert, all the college representative who has actually worked hard to make us reach to the students, all the students for being patient and asking valid questions. This event was a very wonderful event because it was a two-way communication and the participants were actually involved. So, so by this, we want to conclude the session, and to conclude, not pause the session, because we will try to meet you in the near weeks, near months regularly, and will pinpoint you to attract you towards what you should have learned and what you should do to achieve your goal. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Okay.